Hi, Tracy Baker here with Seth, and it's for Baker Gets Cooking. Today we are going to make a very old-fashioned, comforting meal that my grandmother made for her children, and my mother made for me and my brother, and I make for my kids. And so I'm teaching Seth how to make chicken and rice. So this is Grandma Keller's chicken and rice, and I know all my cousins will be watching, and those of you who don't make it can now make it, and her recipe will be preserved for posterity. So first we start out with a chicken that's cut up. This is about 10 pieces of dark meat chicken, so drumsticks and legs.
Look at all those chickens.
And I recommend, I like dark meat with this, or my family prefers dark meat. You could use white meat if you like a breast if you want, but you must use a bone-in piece of chicken. You need the bone to make a full flavor. So my grandmother would have left all the skin on the chicken, but I'm going to take it off, and I'm going to do that with just like a paper towel. This is the easiest way to get rid of the chicken skin, and then you just kind of turn it inside out on itself using the paper towel.
Opening up the garbage.
Okay, Seth, you could put the pan on the heat. So we need a Dutch oven for this recipe.
Gotta wash your hands.
That's right. Now I know you washed your hands because I saw you washing your hands before.
Clean.
So our pot is heating. We can put some oil in the pot, Seth.
Okay.
You go ahead. I'll tell you when to stop. That's good. So that's about a quarter cup of oil maybe in the pot. My grandmother would have used lard to brown her chicken, and yes, lard does taste really good. It adds a lot of flavor. And I'm going to just put a little bit of flour. This is just a couple of tablespoons of flour. I'm not going to flour all of them, but we're just going to have enough flour on the chicken to kind of make a nice crust, and the flour will brown as well in the oil and make for a flavorful chicken. Can you reach the salt and pepper on the stove, please?
Stove.
I'm just going to swirl this in the bottom.
Pepper.
Good, because we'll need that in a little bit. And I'm just going to kind of
Dab it in the...
do like so, and then into this preheated pot. So let me move this a little bit.
Sounds so cool.
And we're just going to, put it, right on the bottom of the pan and let it brown.
Mom?
Yeah.
Should you wait until all of the oil spreads all the way around, or no?
Is it not all the way around?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Yeah, you should. Yeah, that's a good, I see that what you're asking. That's a good idea, yeah. Should be all around the bottom of the pan.
Okay. So you want to get them tucked in really tight?
Well, I have to tuck them in tight because I've got a lot of chicken pieces, but you would ideally leave a little bit of space between your chicken pieces.
Okay.
They would brown better then.
That's right.
Yes, you can. Go ahead. Good?
Yeah.
You want to do more?
Sure.
Well, let me do this one. You can do some more. Now, sometimes it's a little bit hard to fit all of the pieces in, so then you would just wait till one batch browns and then brown the other batch.
Okay.
Here, you can do the last three. They'll fit in for you. See what you can do.
I think this one will fit in.
Did it spit at you?
It spits. It hurts. Like a dragon.
You got to be careful when you're frying things. Yeah. I'm gonna make it all fit. I'm gonna squish them all in here.
I'm scared to go near it now.
Well, you don't have to go near it because it just has to sit and brown.
Okay, should we put the lid on or no?
Not yet.
Okay.
super important step. You must salt the chicken now. So go ahead and you can do some. You be generous with the salt too.
I don't know what that means.
Well, I guess you could put the equivalent of about a quarter teaspoon on the top side of the chicken, and then the bottom side of the chicken, and then a little bit more for when we put the rice in. Okay, that's good. Now a couple of grinds of pepper. So then on a medium-high heat, you just let the chicken brown. And the browning, the crust that's going to develop on the bottom of the pan is super important for the overall taste of the finished product. So just be patient and let it brown. Second side of the chicken is nice and brown now too, and I've got I have nice brown bits on the bottom of the pan, and that's perfect. That means those brown bits are nothing but flavor, so it's great. Now I'm going to make 2 cups of rice for my family. So we've got now the next step is to make the broth, and we're going to add some water to the pan. So I'm going to add 4 cups of water because I'm cooking 2 cups of rice. So the amount of rice you use, you need to double the water.
Okay.
Sure. Now be careful because it's going to spit and smoke a bit. Get it right over? Yep. Okay, good.
It's way quieter.
Here, you can mop up. So I'm just going to move the chicken pieces around a little bit and scrape off the bottom of that pot, and it'll make a nice brown color to the water, which is going to turn into stock for you. This is why you need to use bone-in chicken. The bones provide a really nice flavor to the stock, to the chicken broth. You cannot obtain a nice flavored stock with just meat alone, so you do need those bones. And now I'm going to bring that water up to a boil, and then I'm going to reduce the heat to a simmer, and I'm going to cover it, and I'm going to let the chicken simmer for at least 20 minutes, and ideally you want to do this about an hour, and that makes a really nice flavorful stock. So you need to plan ahead for this dish. Although you don't need to stand at the stove all the time, you need to kind of be around. You can do it ahead. I have prepared it to this step and then made the rice, put it in the fridge overnight and made the rice the next day. We've done that, and that works really well. My grandmother had a lot of kids. She had 11 children. And I clearly remember she used to cut up 3 chickens for her children. And she used an entire box of Delta rice. So I don't know how many cups that box was, but it was a lot. And I have a memory of her dumping the box into the pot to feed everybody. But it's very hearty, very comforting, and for very little money, it's very inexpensive, very little money, you can feed a lot of mouths with this. So we're just going to bring that to a simmer. Going to cover it. Where's my lid? Cover it and let it cook for an hour. So our chicken and water has been simmering for about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. And now we're on to the next step. Do you know what the next step is, Seth?
Rice?
The rice, yeah, you are correct. So,
Wait, don't we have to put in salt?
yeah, we do. I'm going to put the rice in first. So we're going to cook 2 cups of rice in here.
Okay. Okay.
Now we have a very nice, flavorful broth to cook our rice in. Now we're going to just stir that up. You want to stir that up?
Sure.
And I'm gonna stick my finger in the water to taste it for salt. I don't suggest that you put your finger in the hot water, but I can do this because
Lots of practice.
Lots of practice. I have heat-proof fingers. I'm gonna put a little bit more salt in there. So you want this to be the water is gonna need to taste fairly salty because the rice is going to absorb the salt. And so to get a flavorful end product, you need to have the water tasting almost like seawater. Maybe not quite that salty, but almost like seawater. So we stir that in and dissolve the salt, and then I'm going to taste it again.
Okay.
Now I'm going to use another very clean finger. And that tastes good. You can put a little bit of pepper in there.
Okay. Don't want to stop.
Yep, put lots in. I like it quite peppery. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, you can stir that up one last time. So the last step is bringing the water to a boil, reducing the heat to simmer, covering it, and cooking the rice for 20 minutes.
And I think it's ready to boil.
Yeah, it looks pretty good to me. So I'm gonna, you can take the spoon out there, and I'm gonna put the lid on, and we're gonna reduce the heat to simmer. And I'm gonna set the timer for 20 minutes.
Should I just put this down?
Yeah. So I think our chicken and rice is done. The rice has been cooking for about 20 minutes. So let's take a look. Seth, do you want to take the lid off?
Sure.
And see. We'll do a little taste test in here, I think. Can you put some rice and some chicken into the bowl there?
I'll just get
Whatever.
some more rice. That good enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
Taste test? Okay.
Oh, got some chicken in there too.
It takes me back. Tastes okay? You gonna try some chicken too? Okay.
That was good.
I think it passes the inspection. I hope your family likes this as much as mine does. I'm glad to have the opportunity to preserve this recipe for posterity from my grandmother. Do you think you'll make this for your grandchildren one day?
Yeah.
Or maybe your children, my grandchildren? I think so. We'll see you again next time. Bye.
Perhaps.